Okay.
Should I start the recording?
Yeah, starts back up and we'll take care of a couple more miscellaneous topics.
Okay. There it goes, okay.
Okay, we're back on the clock, and next thing on our discussion list is Heidman Steel release and hold harmless. I did read that. I think Jim had that ready.
Yeah,
Everybody
looks all
like?
right to me.
Okay,
I'm good with it.
I'll move that we approve the hold harmless agreement for Heitman Steel and forward it to Jody Barber.
Second?
a motion and second. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries. I sign that only, I assume.
Yeah,
I don't know, here's the paper. I think y'all sign it.
Yeah, we all sign. Okay, next topic, proposed holiday schedule and meeting schedule. What do you think, guys? Let's start with the holidays.
I'm fine with it, other than I've never understood the double holiday thing. Christmas falls on a Friday, or give Friday and Monday off. I don't understand why we give 2 days off for Christmas. Other than that, I mean, because that makes 13 paid holidays. If you remove the doubles out, I mean, where I come from, you know, if a Christmas falls on a Sunday and you go to work Monday. If it falls on a Saturday and you don't work Saturday, you're out there too. If it falls on a Friday, you get that Friday off, of course. But I know it's splitting hairs, maybe being petty. I just think that's kind of way out there to give 2 days off for a single holiday. But
Well, you've got a point.
well,
I think it's.
the Friday is
Eve
Christmas Eve.
and- Christmas Eve
That's a
and
holiday.
Christmas, that's
So
what
it's
it
not
is.
2 days for Christmas.
well, that's still, you get Christmas off anyway, is what I'm saying on that Saturday. I meant to say Christmas Eve, I'm sorry. What I meant to say is Christmas Eve is Friday, you get it off, but then don't we have it Monday off also? Mm-hmm. Right, because Christmas is on that Saturday.
No, Christmas is on Monday.
Monday.
Oh, did I read that wrong? I'm sorry.
Christmas is on Monday.
Yeah,
Yes.
We're getting.
But, okay, but Christmas Eve is on the 24th, which is on a
Right.
Sunday, yet we're
Which
giving
is
it
on-
off on a
on Sunday,
Friday,
yeah,
which doesn't make
right.
any sense to me. If the holiday doesn't fall on the day you work, I don't know why it's a paid off day.
I agree.
I mean, why give a paid off day on Friday when Christmas Eve isn't Friday, it's on Saturday? Or Sunday, I'm sorry. Now, I get getting
Well,
Christmas off.
But then what are you gonna do? I mean, our benefit package, if you hire somebody, it's predicated on, we have 13 paid holidays.
Well,
So,
I'm not sure it's
Unless-
predicated on 13 paid holidays. I think we agree every year on what holidays we're going to
Yeah.
give, but we don't sign on benefits saying, okay, you get 13 paid holidays.
Yeah, it would be some years it's going to be 13, some years it's not.
Yeah.
And they'd have to,
And like I said, I don't mean to cause a grief here. It's just, I just think if a holiday falls on a day that isn't normally worked, it shouldn't be paid on a day that is normally worked.
there's no reason they shouldn't work that Friday.
The way I see it, I mean, if we're talking about customer service too, especially around that time of year, people trying to get things done by the end of the year, whatever, you know, I'm all for giving those paid holidays that we give. I just think that paying ones that aren't falling on the day you work doesn't make sense to me.
We have to prove that one way or the other, I assume. I think so.
Does council have any say in this?
no.
Nope. I'll entertain a motion one way or the
I'm
other.
gonna ask, I don't know. Council,
Well, council appropriates the funding for
Yeah.
the
Right.
payroll.
right.
We set the schedule is the way I understand it, but
Yeah.
Pick your poison.
well, my motion would be to pay the holidays that are in the normal course of work.
Let's specify it to this coming year,
Okay?
the 2023 Christmas Eve, since it is not,
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't print it off. I looked at it.
Yeah.
So I'm good with this whole schedule. I have a problem with two. I have a problem with, okay, Thanksgiving's a Thursday. I think we pay that, obviously. Friday is not a holiday. Friday after Thanksgiving's not a holiday. I don't know why we pay it. Again, Christmas Eve does not fall on a Friday, it falls on a Sunday. I don't know why you would pay a Friday for something no one works. Now, highway department or 24-hour services are a little different thing. I assume if someone's staffed, like residential's staffed at community corrections, the jailers have to work that day. I think you have to pay them for that holiday. But I'm not sure you have to pay everyone that doesn't work. Am I thinking this wrong or not?
no, I think you've got something there. We could table this for a week.
I'd like to.
Let's do that.
Think we
Let's
should all
table it for a week.
discuss it.
Jim's back and Susan's back. And give it some thought, maybe run it by Dottie.
Because we're pretty generous. I mean, if you look, we give a fair day, which is a Columbus, which is a celebration of, Veterans Day, Labor Day, Independence Day, Memorial Day, Good Friday, President's Day. No business gives President's Day to anyone. Martin Luther King goes 50-50. New Year's, of course.
I'd rather pay Martin Luther King than President's Day.
I am too. I
honest
think
with
he
you.
did more good for this country than any of our presidents. But yeah,
Well, especially the last one.
yeah.
Or two, well, some before that. But anyway, let's table that.
All right.
Yeah.
But I'm good with the meeting schedule. I have no problem with it.
There's a problem with the meeting schedule.
Huh?
Problem with the meeting schedule.
You have one?
Yeah, I do.
Which one?
June.
June?
It's the wrong year. That's 2022, June.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I'm surprised you caught that.
Once in a while I wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
So that's 2022 dates?
yeah, the day's the 6th. Next year would be, the June meeting would start on the 7th. and then so-
Ah,
Yeah, the whole month is off.
No,
okay.
the only month is off in 23 is, it should be the 5th instead of the 6th. The 12th,
Yeah, yeah.
12th, 19th, and 26th are correct.
They are
It's just the
correct.
5th that's wrong then, huh?
Okay.
Okay.
Susan said just table it. We'll fix it.
Yep, just that one day, should be June 5th.
Oh, the top one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it. Okay, motion to approve with the correction.
So moved.
Second,
A motion and a second to approve the commissioner's schedule for 2023. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same. Motion carries. Okay. Got one more miscellaneous. Let's squeeze it in here. We got a few more minutes for 10:30. We got the bill on the pump out of Sunny Meadows for the septic pump. $675. That's been approved to be paid. We have an estimate on the other pump. It has a backup pump. To replace that pump both tanks, and to replace that pump, the pump itself is $5,975. To replace the pump. Pump that tank is $1,000. To pump the, no, wait, I've got that wrong. The pump is 5,975. To replace it is $1,000. To pump the tank is $1,000. You have to pump the tank to replace it. Said the chain's broke on it, can't pull the pump out.
You gotta pump the tank, but the other pump is sufficing, and it's the controller that went out in that pump, right? We fixed it.
The electronics.
So if that pump went out, one that has been repaired, we could just replace that pump again, right? I have a hard time with a $7,000 backup pump for a septic.
Seems odd that the backup pump would be 10 times more than,
Well, it was only the circuit board that went out on the main pump.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I
okay,
think
all
if
right,
it went bad, it would have to be pumped down and replaced too, but
okay, gotcha.
you got a little time. I mean, if it goes bad, and they do have a box they can look at, has like a light that comes on if the pump fails. That buys us some time to get it fixed. With the position we're at with this building and the talk we've had, I think it's best that we just stick with the single pump for now,
Okay.
my opinion.
What do you think, Mike?
Ben?
Well, I'm hesitant to put another $7,000 or $8,000 in that, and
That's, yeah.
with things being in flux a little bit. So,
Okay.
I would agree.
Okay, we'll hold off on that. And,
As
I'll
long
let
as
them
we're,
know
as
we-
long as we're not having any health
yeah,
Yeah.
related
they are
complications.
gonna pump that solid tank,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's a good idea.
but that's not happened yet. Okay, that cleans that up unless you guys have something. Add to. Anything, Mike? Nothing?
no,
Okay. Pat, you are up. Come up to the mic, state your name and your address.
Name, Pat Hensinger. Address is 4707 County Road 45, Auburn. I do have some papers here that I could give each one of you, if that would be okay. I'm kind of going to go off this. That'll work.
Thank you.
This first sheet is just a little bit of, I was looking into like how much dust, that we generate on 45. And I would say we probably have 100 cars a day going down our road. I don't know if there's any truth to this, but it's like, one car, 1 mile generates 100 tons of dust a year. And so, I mean, to me, that's just like, right now we're making so much dust, it's just unbearable to live there. So I kind of want to just point that out. But on the second page, I have kind of bullet points, getting the point on 45, the dust is so bad, you can't enjoy being outside. It's destroying, vehicles, living on a dirt road. I know that's a choice, but living on a dirt road is one thing, but living on a busy dirt road is something entirely different. I've been there for 28 years, and I've seen the houses have doubled on our road. And, I put in a petition. There's been petitions prior to me. But what I'm seeing is that the dust is so bad, we're actually losing, the surface. And the way it's been graded, we're also getting a lot of erosion. We now have standing water. I have pools of water at the end of my driveway now where they've cut into it so deep. But then when it rains, it also runs, it erodes. It washes off. So our road is not only just horribly dusty, it's actually getting worse. And if we don't, I think, do something right away, it's just going to cost more money down the road. When I moved there 28 years ago, they did say that, that we'd eventually get our road chip and sealed. And that was dependent on like how many people lived there. Well, since I lived there in 28 years, the homes have doubled, and the traffic has probably tripled because 45 is kind of a thoroughfare connecting Allen County to Steuben County. So the first thing on there is like what do we have to do to get 45 chip and sealed? What is that going to take? And I don't know how this process works, that if I, say, okay, check these bullet points, if you respond, or I just go through them.
Do them one at a time.
Okay, so I guess the first one is, what, has to be done, or what can we do, or, what do we have to do to get 45 chip and sealed? Between 46A and State Road 8, 2-mile stretch.
You want to answer that? I would say, and I don't mean to be quirky here, but get in line, because everybody wants their road chip and sealed.
Right.
And believe me, you're not the first request. So, and I'm just saying that as a reference, everybody wants it done. We've had others that have previously requested chip and seal. And so that's one reason. Another reason is money, obviously. That road is particular, and Ben can attest to this, needs a lot of work to hard surface it. It's not a matter of just going in and chip and sealing that road, because it won't hold up. It'll fall apart in a year. It takes you have to put in a base, you have to put in drainage on that road. Ben, you want to clarify any further?
That's the biggest problem with it, is the drainage. There's a lot of flat areas on that don't drain. And then with building a road, you need drainage and more drainage. Drier the base, the better the road. That particular section of road has a lot of water issues, which I know you live out there, you can see it. Therefore, and the county does a lot. We have 720 miles of road we maintain, and 280 of it's gravel. So therefore, we'll have to have some drainage. I don't know what all is regulated out there. We'd have to tile some of that road. We'd have to establish ditches. Her yard is one of them that needs the ditches established.
Does it?
A lot of that road does, especially on the east side. A lot of that's been filled over the years, and there needs to be swales and ditches reestablished. With that, we'd have to go through and do utility coordination, depending on where the cables was put in, to put the utilities in the proper location where the ditches can be reestablished. Any pipes under the roadway would have to be upgraded. We always do that before we pave or convert, along with doing soil stabilization and adding base, and then sealing it, if we chose to seal it. DeKalb County's got a lot of soils, different areas that it just don't make, a lot of it's just crazy. We'll have muck areas, we have areas with clay that we've done a lot of roads that hadn't even held up with that. So, when we go in and just chip seal a road, not every road in DeKalb County can just be chip sealed. Every road has different base. It's going to take different sub-treatments. Some's more, some's less.
What's the base like here roughly? Do you know what, do we have a peat that's there, kind of like?
I don't see a lot of peat up next to the road anywhere, but I do know that there's drainage issues on that road. That would be the first thing, is to get the drainage established and monitor it and see where it goes from there. Without going out there and digging some test spots in the roadway, I cannot really testify to what is out there. If it's all clay or sandy. I didn't see any sand pockets coming up through the road. At this point, I haven't seen it. Not to say there's not, but that's an issue. We got to look and go in and actually dig out those sections of roadway, replace with geogrid and backfill 18 inches of material to get a base. These have just been older gravel roads that had stone dumped on over years. It's never really had a base established. 45 is a relatively decent gravel road. It's 22 foot wide. I measured it this morning. It's not a narrow road. It's not a bad road, but it's gravel. And I get it. Gravel roads are dusty. They're dirty. But to convert every road in the county, I got people that call me on a regular basis that wants their paved road upgraded because they're bad. Well, at some point, we got to weigh out what we're going to repair. Since I've been here, I've never received a tort claim on a gravel road, but boy, I sure get them on paved roads. And that's something that the county's got to consider too. We need to maintain our paved roads at a standard before we started converting a lot. Because the more we convert, the more money we have in maintenance. Our cost, I got another escalation clause today from API on material. Today's times especially, where's this going to stop? highways can't fund everything for what we have to maintain and then to add.
What's,
Honest.
what's on the schedule this year to convert? Do we have any on the schedule?
Just 32 for Butler is all I've got at this point.
32?
Is that the one due to the factories going in
Factories
there?
and an annexation, the agreement that we signed with
Annexation.
Butler. You know, then we've got 57 that needs to be done that ties in Allen County that's getting, you know, that one's a huge maintenance issue for us because it's getting so much truck traffic and things. And I'm not even so sure that chip and seal is going to be the answer for that road. That road may have to be hardtop. We've got several areas within the county. I mean, it's our number one complaint is the gravel roads and the dust. And, you know, we're in the 21st century. I mean, people's wanting nicer roads and things, but we didn't convert it back to gravel. It's been gravel. And we do an annual dust control that a lot of counties do not do. Something we got to consider too, that people got to understand that we spend a lot of money on that. That a lot of the counties no longer pay for that. They put that on the residents. And that does help with dust. That does help with soil stabilization. But it's not the answer for the whole road. You know, it's still going to be dusty. It's still going to dry. That calcium's always there, but it does penetrate more. And that area will get a little dusty in the summer, but the rain will bring that back, rejuvenate that calcium because it seeks moisture, so it either goes deep or comes up.
Have they done calcium coating our roads? Have they
They have not
finished?
started. They have not moved to the county yet.
They've not started?
No, and I don't know where they're at. Did they give you an idea this morning, Mark? Well, you know, Pearston lost all their calcium applicator drivers here 2 months ago. Getting new ones. They're the ones that do our annual dust control. So typically we're done the middle of June. But each year it seems that we're getting kicked back a little bit further, and a lot of that's weather dictated as well. But until safe to say normally it's around middle of June. We're here.
Is there anything we can do immediately in the near term to address like the drainage issues? Is there, that's another problem we have in the county. Our drainage has been neglected for 50 years. We have clay tiles that are 100 years old that are broken. That's a lot of the drainage issues you're probably seeing is just due to our poor state of our entire drainage system that's in shambles. We're looking at millions of dollars. Not only that, it's the time frame of trying to get this done. It's one, and I like what you said there. Is there a plan? You know, a time frame. You know, there's no time frame for anything anymore. Everything's unreality right now. You can't get anyone to do anything. So even if you say, hey, we've got 2.3 million, let's pave it. Oh yeah, we'll get to that in 2025. And who knows? And by the way, you're going to sign this contract that says the price now is 2.3, but we can do escalations of whatever we want. And that's the problem I see with everything right now. We're in such a box of people not working, prices being through the roof. I'm not even sure you can get a good product even if we did the job right now. We're struggling with 56 right now. That's being pushed back to what, Ben?
2025 from, actually it started out 2023, now it's out to 2025.
Yeah, and I feel your pain with that. And you know, of course it was gravel when you moved there, and you know, I'm not gonna go into that.
Right.
And I've actually had some people say, don't ever pave my road. I'm like, why would you not want your road? I would live on a gravel road. And he says, because no one uses my road, but it sounds like yours is getting a little busier, so.
I would say 100 cars a day. Very, very busy. I was going the other night, takes 20 minutes to go out front, and I had 10 cars go by.
Yeah,
And I mean, they don't go slow. Even
Yeah.
at 30 miles an hour, it kicks up so much
Oh.
dust. It's just.
I feel for you there. Yeah, there's no doubt. That drives me crazy.
I guess my next question, I mean, is there anything like until it can be done, you know, is there any kind of other than just, well, one of the homeowners on the road wanted me to ask, okay, you usually do 200 feet in front of each home, but if there's a home across from each other or kind of, you know, they only do 200 in front of those homes. And like my property, I've got someone across from me, one next to me, and then they'll actually leave a little section in between. So, you know, they hit it and then it's all of a sudden dust and then, you know,
Yeah,
and they used to do it all across the whole front. But they don't do that. I mean, is there any way that they can do 200 per home? So if you had, 3 houses, right next to each other, they're doing more than 200, they're doing 400, 600, because, even though you do it in front of someone's house, when you hit that part where it's not oiled or whatever, the dust, I mean, the wind, it's just unbelievable. And 45 has become pretty powdery. They did just put stone down, but I don't know why our road is so dusty. I mean, you can't even open your windows. I mean, it's almost unbearable. I used to walk when I walk the road, ride my bicycle. Huh?
On the east side too.
Yeah. So I get the most of it, but my neighbor jogs. She can't jog down the road anymore. I mean, we can't do certain things we used to do because it's so busy. And it's just,
That's another thing. Is there a way to maybe just, could we do some more dust control on these high use gravel roads until we can get to a chip and seal or a hard surface?
Well, the
Can we
thing
give them
is,
more
I mean-
dust control?
I mean, we can do whatever you guys want to do. I mean, but what you got to remember is we have 280 miles.
Oh,
of
no, I know.
gravel
I'm
road.
just talking if this is
So
truly a
this-
high traffic road.
Well, we don't count gravel roads because we just don't. But anybody you talk to that lives on a gravel road is very busy. They all have high gravel roads. So I
Do they?
mean, I got the ones that I know are busy. My drivers know it's busy, but you're opening that door. I don't know if you want to open or not because you got that.
Yeah, you gotta do them all.
I got
Well,
a
then you're gonna add a lot
question
of-
though. Are we getting what we're paying for? In other words, if it's 200 foot per household, and if there's 3 households within 600 feet, we should have 600 feet of
600 feet
dust
of dust
control.
control,
Are we actually paying for that? What I'd like
We
to
pay
know
by
is,
the gallons. We pay by the gallons, not by the house.
By the gallons used? So it's a liquid treatment.
Liquid treatment. They don't charge us by the house. They apply it where we have them apply it. We have a driver, rider with the
Okay.
applicator when they go.
Do you know about what it costs to do a foot or 100 foot?
Our
or-
cost is a little bit different than what they charge the homeowners. I would have to do some calculations. It's, I don't remember what it was a gallon. Do you, Mark?
$1.08. How many square foot does a gallon do roughly, do you know? It's 22 wide, the road, you say?
They spray it 18 foot wide.
They spray 18?
I don't have any of that with me. But no, we spray, that's why last year it was so much cheaper, because they had that hunk of steel in their distributor truck. So, I mean, we only pay for what's applied. No, it's not costing the county. But when you do that, we've got several homes that's across from one another. This is the way it's always been. So if we do that, and then we add them on, you're just adding that footage. But we'll have to
gallons,
do it.
yeah, you're out in gallons.
Yep, and that's gonna add a lot of cost to our dust control.
What are we paying this year? Do you remember for that? Do you remember what the
There's
commissioners
$1.08 a
paid?
gallon. It
What
changes.
we allocated, I should say, for 2022.
It's a little over 200,000. You don't allocate any of it. You give it all to me in that lump sum.
Yeah.
And then I break that out.
Right, right.
But it's just over 200,000 I have in dust control for this year.
Do we apply it or do we pay someone?
We pay someone.
We pay someone to do it.
Great Lakes Chloride does it.
I'm sorry?
Great Lakes Chloride. Yeah, I mean, for us to apply it, it'd take a lot of time, a lot of resources, and
The nice thing about,
how much?
how much?
$216 a house, so it's cost us about the same. For 200 feet.
So 200 feet is $216. As long as a mile's what, 5,600
$52.80 a
or
mile.
5,280? From the master road builder, I'm
Yeah.
impressed. So 5,280. I'm just want to do a quick calculation here. Laugh at this, but 5,280 by 18, 95,000 square foot, 5,200, yeah.
Be 11,733 square feet, or square yards. 20 foot wide.
But so 200 foot is $200 a mile. You divide that by a mile.
Divide.
Yeah, 5,280 divided by 200. would be 26,
times 216
216. It'd be $5,700 to do the whole road,
to do a mile.
to do a mile. I'm sorry, a mile. So
And they're asking for 2 miles,
you're asking for 2 miles, you're looking at
10,000.
11 grand.
Yeah.
A little over 11 grand to do the whole road if you wanted to spray the whole thing, right? So 2 issues I see. Do you do the whole road to try to combat the dust if it truly is a higher traffic area than others? B, or also, even probably a bigger consideration, what about the drainage issues? If this road truly has bad drainage issues, I think that should come first. But, you
It ain't the
know,
only one.
Well, that's going to be a complicated
Yeah.
situation because, as Ben said, the ditches filled in.
that's what I'm
over
saying.
time.
I think you gotta start there, though. I think if we're gonna improve this road, we better start with the basics first instead of putting Band-Aids on it.
You know,
I'd rather
just-
throw money at fixing it than controlling the dust for right now.
Well, the dust control, though, that would be part of the conversion process.
Okay.
Because you do the dust control before we do that conversion.
But we gotta do ditch work.
I would have to do the ditch work and the berm work and whatever else. Not to mention to build up the base. That's where can we build the base with pit run gravel? Depends on the composition.
It's possible, depending on the gravel. We need compaction.
Yeah.
You know, and we're getting to the point too, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, if we're gonna look at converting miles of road, we're gonna have to contract a lot of it.
That's what?
We're gonna have to contract a lot of it out to keep up. I just can't do it all.
Now, I know.
I mean, we're behind now.
Well, it's, but it's either contracted out or hire more help,
One or the other, yeah. Or both, yeah.
you know, and which is most cost effective, contract it out or hire the help. And then it comes to, well, do you have enough equipment with the additional help? So,
But it all is gonna boil down to funds. You know, we was $750,000 less last year. This year, we started gaining about 8% a month. Our money's coming in, but now with gas going up, people's gonna quit driving. And then my cost, the money we're receiving back ain't superseding the cost inflation we're receiving. You know, we're gonna have to look at some different funding revenues at some point.
That might bring me to my next little note there about a wheel tax. I know DeKalb County doesn't, and I'm just wondering why we don't when all the other counties do. I mean, even if it's just like the equivalent of a car wash, 2 car washes a year, that would generate funds for the county. Gentleman that works for me, he didn't even realize he was paying. He lives in Noble County. He's paying $69 a year in wheel tax. And Noble County is in the process of doing all their roads, chip and sealing. And then DeKalb County, we don't have wheel tax. And even if you did, $20 a year, it would generate at least something to put towards the road. So I was just kind of curious as why, one hasn't been implemented.
Well, that's a good question, and the simple answer is the more revenue streams you put in place for taxation, they start out as, only $20, you won't notice. And then it's 40, then it's 60, then it's 100, then they cap that out, and then they introduce another new tax. It's kind of like our lighted taxes, that's our local income tax you pay. You're paying 2.13% of your income to this tax. It can cap out at 3%. It can go as high as 3%. These taxes hurt the poor and the middle class the most because it's a bigger part of their disposable income. If you're rich, $20, $60, $100. But all these little taxes, when you add them up, they start out small and then they just increase. The budgets increase. And when there's a need, you need to do it. But I'm trying to find a way to do things within the current income stream that we have and try to limit the wasteful spending per se. But I get your point, but another problem is, I believe when they wanted to bring this wheel tax back in 03, 06, I can't remember, the trucking companies, of course, threw an absolute fit because their wheel tax isn't $20. It's based on the gross weight of the vehicle and the axle. They'll just say, hey, we'll move to Bryan, Ohio, we'll move to wherever. And you can't live by threats, of course, but you have to look at all angles. It's not just $20 for some people. It might be 500. For some people, it might be.
Well, I mean, can you make it flat across the board so it isn't?
No, the state actually regulates how that tax has to be imposed. We have say on how much they have a standard you have to go by. You can't just say, okay, that car's 10, that car's 20.
Right.
I like John over here, so it's 0 for him, you know? So there is guidelines to it, but I haven't dug deeply into it. But another tax is just, we might be forced into a wheel tax before it's over with, but I'd hate to see it.
Well, but on the other hand, there are, roads in particular are a primary job of the county to maintain
Yep.
good roads.
Yep.
And if you look at the roads in the counties surrounding us that have wheel taxes or provisions for that, you know, they're way ahead of the game. And I quite frankly, well, I don't just think, I know for a fact that there are many DeKalb County residents who understand that if they want certain things done, it's going to cost to have that done.
What would be nice is if we got more of our tax back from the state that they take from us. To give you an idea, we have 7% sales tax, you know, in DeKalb County and in the state, and they just trickle a little back to us. You know, the businesses here alone, if they would just give us our sales tax back, we wouldn't need any other taxes at all. And that's the game you play though with the state and at the local level. They have no problems there because they have all the money. And then they just, oh, we'll grant you this or grant you that. And they're now telling us, hey, if you don't do a wheel tax, there's a good chance we might not give you money back that we usually give you. So they're going to eventually probably pressure us into that.
Yeah, I think
But
they want the county. I was reading, you know,
yeah, but they
No,
want to
I-
keep they want to keep the money though is the problem. The state wants us to take control and tax you extra, but then that way they can keep their money and use it for other things. It just adds another
it's
tax.
just frustrating too, because I,
Oh,
when I
yeah.
do heating and cooling, and I travel all the counties around us, and I get it over Ohio, and their roads are so much better than ours. At our roads,
But-
it's like, slow down.
They have a total different tax base.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, their taxation's
They are
completely.
funded off of sales tax.
Yeah,
And each county establishes that. You're right, but there's a difference. in
Yeah,
that.
that's an apples and
If we got
oranges.
a 0.5% or 1% of the sales tax,
that'd be
our own makes a
huge.
huge difference.
And that would be a good, I would love to see the public, and I appreciate you bringing this, because I agree with you. But I would love to see the public start beating on our state saying, bring more money back to the counties, to the localities where you have a say. Try to go to the state house and say, I want the state road fixed.
That will be next.
Yeah. No, I'm serious though. They'll be like, yeah, have a nice day. You know, we're too busy to hear you. At least you can come talk to us, tell us your frustrations, and maybe we can come up with something. But we need the funding to do it, and they control all the money. If you saw what our budget is for the year, especially for our highway department, versus what the state has coming in, what they could get back to us, it's almost a crime. It really is.
But that doesn't solve her dust problem.
No, I agree. I'm just telling you why when you said, why haven't you done this, you know?
Right. Well, then I guess my last little bullet point on this sheet is, you know, you do have the American Rescue Plan Act. You know, I know you got a reserve, you know, is there anything you can do with some of that for the, you know, roads that are heavily traveled like 45? And I know there are other roads. Thought.
That money's actually spent about 3 times over.
Oh, I'm
We're
sure
still
it
arguing
is,
about that. Right, Mike? Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. I mean, it's,
Well, there's, American Rescue Plan funds can't be used for things like dust control, and that, actually, roads were specifically excluded originally. There are a couple of loopholes there, but basically, we couldn't use it on this project anyway.
The second
But-
page is just kind of, you know, stating, you know, how dangerous it is living on a dirt road. One of the ladies that she works for the auditor assessor's office, she actually gave me a bunch of information, taxes we pay, and then she said when she's going to work in the morning, the kids are waiting for the school bus, the dust, I mean, it starts at 5 o'clock in the morning with the traffic. As you know, it
Oh,
connects. And you know, so the kids, even if they're standing 100 feet off the road, that does not keep them from the dust. And she even went and gave me a, you know, how much property tax, you know, that 45 generates, that mile stretch, which is $50,000 roughly a year. Even, where houses are like how many feet off the road, because obviously the ones that are close to the road, are getting, dust tenfold. But if you, on a windy day, it's even getting houses that are 400 or 500 feet off the road. I mean, shooting as high as the trees that are over 100 feet tall. I mean, it's almost something to see. But also, health, quality of life, destruction of everything. I mean, the dust is so bad. My vehicles, camper, my lawnmower, everything is chewed up. I mean, it's just horrible. Everything's mud. I do heating and cooling. My one barn houses my sheet metal and pipe, and it's covered in dust. Or I go to someone's house, we always have to wipe the dust off because there's no way to keep it out. So I just, obviously, all this, the dust is bad. So I'm here to plead. The next pages there are just some information I pulled up, obviously things that we already know. It's, I think, obviously costs more to live on a dirt road because you have more maintenance. A busy dirt road, I should say, because, I grew up on a dirt road. That's why I had no problem with dirt road. But I also wasn't planning. I was told when I moved there 28 years ago, when so many houses start moving in, that they would be filled. Well, the roads around us have been chip and sealed. We now have less homes. So, like they here, I'd like to say, you sure can.
Well, up to the mic. State your name.
Ron Hyman. I live at 51 Road 45. Been there since 1975. We bought the lot in 19.
In the
We started
microphone,
out, there were
please.
5 dwellings.
Could you talk in the microphone so we can, yeah, that's so we can record you.
When we moved out there were 5 dwellings. One of them was abandoned at the time. There are now 13 dwellings. The one that was abandoned has had major remodel. So what I'm getting to is the valuation of the real estate out there has gone up dramatically. In my case, our first year, our real estate tax was $200. Now it is $2,100. I've heard a lot of, you guys kind of took over Pat's presentation. Heard a lot of excuses why we can't pave the roads, and that's what they are, as excuses. Other counties have done this. Many years ago in the Auburn paper, the Noble County Highway Commissioner was quoted as saying all his roads are paved because it's cheaper that way. The drainage issue. Turns out the Highway Department has caused the drainage issue. Now, the drivers out there are doing the very best jobs they can with what they've been instructed to do, except that every time they come out and grade the road, which is every couple of weeks, it used to be every week, now it's every couple of weeks, they scrape down the edges a little bit. So we end up with a double ditch at the edge of the road. Many years ago, the grade all bucket truck came out and re-ditched in front of our house. That's all gone again. And this is a matter of maintenance, and it's a matter of having dirt, and I won't call it a gravel road. It's a dirt road because it's got a clay base to it. And that's where all this terrible dust comes from. Turns out several states and the national government has declared this dust a health hazard. We have semi-trucks now. There's a cabinet shop that went into the south of us, and they're a busy business. And they run semi-trucks up and down our gravel, or up and down our dirt road. The money coming back to the county, I asked one of you fellows a while back about that. And I don't know why we can't say, gee, Mr. State of Indiana, we're not getting back the money that we send to you. That is reprehensible. That's bad representation of all of us. The money should be coming back to our county. We're paying the taxes. We should be getting back our fair share of the money, and we're not getting it, according to you fellas. So this road continues to deteriorate. I've watched it for 47 years. It has absolutely grown not one whit better. And I guess that road, now we had a neighbor years ago who was there when the electricity came down County Road 45 for the first time. And he said they had trouble getting through on the roads, and he says they improved the roads. Now, that would go back just shy of 75 years. So here we are in century 21 with a road that's in century 19. So I think, folks, it's really time to come to the party on these roads. It turns out our neighbors have put in a petition. I don't know how many other petitions you have. You guys can look that up at the clerk's office or wherever those go on file. But we have the petition in place. We're not going to back down from that. And I just think we've run out of excuses for not starting to pave our roads in this. County Road 47, a half mile to the east of us, same distance, 46A to Route 8, it got chip and sealed a few years ago. Its base and its drainage is absolutely no better than what we have on 45, and it has a fraction of the residents living on it. How did they get their road paved? So some of these things, you know, and I would invite you folks, I'm sure all of you folks live on paved roads. I would invite you to every time that the roads turn dry like they are today, take a drive down our road. Every time the roads turn wet like they do, drive down our road. When we have winter freeze and thaw and that clay turns to mush, it turns out to be a mush about an inch deep. Come out and drive down our road and see what we're experiencing. Pat made a reference to it. That dirt road is a tax on the poor people. And it's unfair. It's not equal representation to all of the members in the county. And if you are so married to dirt roads, turn them all back to dirt. Thank you very much.
My name is Matt Donovan. I live at 4984 County Road 45. My wife and I bought that property in November of last year. After driving up and down the road, we had serious thoughts about moving our residence from Allen County. We talked to a neighbor to the south of us, met our neighbor to the east of us, and they informed us that this petition had been signed and moved around, and there was talk about doing chip and seal on the road. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name on the end here, sir. But I agree with you 100%. The road is completely trashed. I've never been on a dirt road, and I've lived on many dirt roads that are as bad as this road is. This thing turns to powder and mud. There is no in-between. There is no good, because the drainage is the problem. If the drainage was fixed, you could build on the road and chip and seal it. That's the simplest way around it. And as my neighbor pointed out, there really is no excuse for this, for the amount of taxes that we pay, whether it's in sales tax or fuel tax or wheel tax or property tax. It doesn't matter. It sounds like this has been a problem that's been going on for 30 to 40 years, and this road has never been addressed. Every time the trucks go up and down the road, they do the best they can with what they've got. And there just isn't anything left to the road to give. All they're doing is finishing a washboard or plowing over a pothole. And the next time it rains, a truck goes down 70 miles an hour and turns it to ruts. I mean, it's just that the road is a mess. The drainage needs to be fixed. Fortunately, my property runs right along the biggest drainage ditch on the property. I go back, I get to see what happens when it rains in the spring now, since we bought the property. The drainage tile is draining into that big ditch next to my house. The road is lower than the ditches on the side. The road needs to be built up. Then you could dig out the ditch and fix the drainage problem. The road can't stay dry. It can't stay wet. When it is dry, the dust is unbearable, like talcum powder in the air. When it's wet, it's a hazard. I've gone sideways on that road at 30 miles an hour hauling my $25,000 race car trailer in the mud. So, I mean, I'm new to the area. I really don't have a dog in this fight other than what I've noticed in the last 6 months. I came from Allen County, and before that I lived in Fulton County. Now, if any of you are familiar with Fulton County, it's in the middle of nowhere. They don't have any dirt roads. There's no industry. There's no nothing in Fulton County, Indiana. You have Rochester. That's the best you got. There's no dirt roads in Fulton County. I would like to see something done. I would love to help, no matter what it is. But, you know, if we just keep getting put off with excuses, there's no way that we as homeowners can even try to help the problem. All we got to do is sit back and wait for something to be done. And honestly, it sounds like my neighbors have been sitting back long enough. So I would really like to see what we can get done here. You know, I don't want to be pushed off, 6 months, 12 years, 10 years. I mean, like you said, there's everybody in the county on a dirt road wants their road chip and seal. But you look at the counties around us, and it sounds like, I guess, Noble County doesn't have any dirt roads anymore.
I don't think that's correct.
Okay, whatever it was that was said,
No.
I'm not
Yeah,
100%.
I was going to correct that earlier, and that's not
Okay.
correct. Not
But
even.
I mean, there's got to be something to be done. Auburn is a beautiful town with a lot of heritage, and a lot of history. I mean, it's the home of Auburn, Cord, Duesenberg. And we got roads that predate those cars.
Well, the thing we gotta be careful with though is Auburn's not DeKalb County. I mean, we're a big rural area, and the other thing about DeKalb County that's interesting, if you do a little research, our drainage issues are pretty specific to this county. We are literally a swamp that was drained.
Oh, I went through all this in Allen County with Mark at
Yeah.
the health department at
Yeah.
my last home.
Yeah.
This is the entire area is called the Black Swamp. But
Yeah.
how many years ago did they dig the ditches on County Road 45 to
Oh, yeah.
alleviate that to even build houses?
Yeah.
I mean, I
there's
got
no-
a basement under my house that stays dry,
Yeah.
but the road doesn't.
Yeah, there's no doubt it needs help. I'm just saying if you really look, give you an idea of when we talk money, we have 102 bridges in this county. We're one of the counties with the highest number of bridges in the state of Indiana per capita. Those bridges on average probably require 600,000 to $1.5 million each to replace. Try to budget that.
Oh,
It's insane, and I agree with you. We've went from being a quaint farming community where there was, like you said, a couple houses on every road, and you were happy with it because there wasn't much traffic. Now all of a sudden, people are building nice houses on these gravel roads.
Correct.
But the tax money still isn't enough because that money that you pay on your taxes on your house, none of it goes to the roads. Half of it goes to the school, just so you know. Half of it goes right to the school. So that leaves half then goes into what we call our general fund. But all of our road work is done, the money we get back from the state through the gasoline tax that you pay.
Well,
So-
I think there's got to be something done. I mean, especially at this level. You guys know what you're doing, and I think you're doing the best you can with what's given to you. But there's got to be an alternative way around this. There's got to be a way to solve this problem. There has to be. I mean, we can't just walk away and say, well, that's it, too bad.
Well, that's
I
what I
mean-
say. I think we got to get a hold of the drainage issue first. If we
And
don't-
I agree,
If we
I
don't
agree.
solve that, there's nothing else to fix. But
Right.
I'd have to sit down with Ben and really sit down and say what really needs done out here. Because is it a $100,000 project?
Right.
Is it a $4 million project?
And
I mean,
that's something that maybe we could all be involved with together, not just a meeting between you two, but another one of these where we can say, hey, look, can we bring more material in to build the road up rather than redig all the ditches and put in all new tile? I mean, a ditch will carry water a long way. The problem with County Road 45 is it's got a lot of elevation up and down. So, I mean, you're going to have some tile work done. But that big ditch next to my house carries all the water that I can see from, several fields around me. My position, and I'm not a road guy by any means. I don't build roads. I build knees. The road is lower than the ditch. And that's where I see the problem coming from the drainage. It's just the dirt's been moved around so much, it's turned into powder, and the road is actually lower than the ditch. That's just my take. We'd like to be involved with this, I think, as a neighborhood, 100%. I mean, got some really nice houses out there. We got a beautiful neighborhood, and we can't even enjoy being outside. Just, a car goes by, and it lasts 5 minutes, you can't even breathe. That's all I had to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yes. Come on up, state your name, address at the mic.
My name is Emily Hyman. We live at 5128 County Road 45. I have 2 points. First one is this drainage thing that everybody's all upset about. You guys have a road grader. If you would come out, the ditches on our road are plenty deep for drainage. You bring that road grader out, put one wheel in the ditch and the other wheel on the road, and take off that top,
A berm. We
whatever you
it the
call that
berm.
thing.
Yeah, we call it the
It would
berm.
drain beautifully. And that doesn't cost you anything other than to run that machine someplace. That's the first point. The second point is Mr. Parker here?
Mr. Parker.
Are you Mr. Parker? Nice to meet you finally. I have a note here. This is an uncomfortable question. And I'm pretty sure the answer is going to be uncomfortable too if you choose to answer it. This is to Pat Hensiger, or to Mike from Pat Hensiger. And I don't know what the original conversation was, but it says, I know Mr. Parker has no intention of chip and sealing County Road 45. One of his employees even said that. Apparently, Mr. Parker doesn't like Amish. We have 2 families so far, third one coming, and stated that County Road 45 will be the last road to be chip and sealed because the Amish want it done. You have an answer for that one?
Where you got that from? I never said that.
I'm reading it from a note.
I
that
don't care
got.
who you're reading it from, I didn't say it.
Well, so you're saying that
Is this hearsay? Someone said that Ben said it, or do you have writing that Ben
I
actually
have
said
no
that?
idea that this was the note that
Well,
came to us.
that's not fair. I mean,
Well, are you calling Mr. Watson saying he's not being truthful? Are you saying
I
that
didn't-
your
whoa, whoa, whoa.
employee was
Wait-
has
Wait a
some
minute,
grudge
wait a
or
minute.
other?
I did not write that.
No, Pat wrote it.
who's,
Okay.
Pat who? Me. Well, I don't think anyone's here said we don't like Amish and we're not going to pave the road. I have a lot of Amish friends and they're a part of the
Well,
community
I found
too.
this very disturbing. I really did. That somebody could
Well, it's
even
very
think.
But that's
disturbing that
hearsay,
you're sitting
though.
here making accusations of me that's very false, man.
Well, if you say so, but I'm just reading this note that I got.
Well, you can read a note whatever you want, but unless you heard, did you hear me physically say that?
No, I did not hear it.
That's because it didn't happen.
It's hearsay.
I said it was going to be an uncomfortable question and an
Well,
uncomfortable
that's-
answer.
Unfair question. I mean, if you have an email from him where he said that, or a recording, or someone's willing to testify that he said that, we'll hear that. But I could say accusations about anyone here, and that would not be right. I mean,
Well,
we want to help your
I'm
problem.
just
but-
relating what we were told. So,
Well,
and Mr. Watson is familiar with our road because he brought our sign out to put in our front yard.
yeah.
But that drainage issue for County Road 45, if you bring that big road grader out, and like I say, one wheel in the ditch, the other one on the road, and scrape off that ledge that's there, that road would drain beautifully. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That brings up a lot of questions and issues and emotions, actually. And the first emotion is, well, we need to raise the taxes. We need to raise this wheel tax. That's the first thing that comes to mind. And I'd gladly do that, but I would surely want to find a place to cut another tax, one of the other taxes that we have. And we have several of them, unfortunately. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors. The whole tax system is smoke and mirrors, and it's designed to confuse everyone as to where your money is going and how much money you're actually getting back after you send in that check. And unfortunately, we only get a fraction back. The nice thing about the wheel tax, it's created here, it stays here. And I like that about the wheel tax, and that's what's given me the only inclination to implement a wheel tax would be that fact. Other than fact, it would help with the money. I'm not sure what's the max on the wheel tax so we can collect.
Percentage.
I'm gonna say 3 or 2 or 3,
0.3 or something.
and that goes against
Licensed vehicle.
the licensed vehicle.
And that is broke down. My understanding of is the newer the vehicle, the higher the percentage. So it's obviously the newer vehicle you have, the higher plate you pay. There's a percentage of that is paid off of that vehicle. So that is for motorcycles, that's for cars, trucks, tractor trailers, all that. I'm not real diverse on the wheel tax, how that comes, but I know a little bit of it.
I don't know what else we can do except that to create funds, additional funds. I would like to go out there and spray that road, but that's $11,000. I mean, that'd be my inclination, to be honest with you.
I like that idea to help with the dust control, but
Well,
Let's get that dust down for now and then look at the possibility of berming that road sometime.
I would go along with that. I think we need to expand the dust control on that road, at least for now. And let me just say, you know, it's true, a lot of people want their gravel roads paved. These people took their time to come in and talk to us in person, and that carries some weight with me.
Yeah,
As does it was, what, a year ago, Pat, that you sent me some information on this, and I talked to the Heineman some time back, too. So I'd like to see the spraying expanded to some extent, whether we do the entire road or we just do longer stretches, try to get that down, and then we can have a reasoned discussion about wheel tax and what we would do with those funds and how that fits the whole, what it looks like and so forth. And I would still like to see some sort of a priority list
we,
for chipping and sealing or doing something with our gravel roads so that as funds become available, we have, well, like we do with drainage projects. You know, we have a list of, well, this one's next on the list when we have the money.
there is unintended consequences to dust control on an entire road or 2 miles road is how do you prioritize that? Because as soon as we do one, everybody's going to want their road done. And then we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Gonna get a lot of calls.
We get a lot of calls. So I don't know how we do that and not get into a situation that we can't get out of monetarily. I don't know. I think we're gonna have to mull this over a bit.
is one of them ways maybe to determine is a traffic study of some sort, even if it was very limited? 100 cars a day, you thought roughly. I mean, is there a way that we can figure out what the actual prioritize in that way? Hey, this road's really busy, a lot of cut-through traffic, a lot of semi-traffic, whatever, that this one needs the dust control. This one here only gets 4 operations a day or 10, you know? Is that a way to maybe prioritize it?
That would probably be a way. I don't know how much is that available to us to have that done.
Don't
on
we
a
have
dirt
those
road.
counters that you put across the, do we have any of those boxes with the cables you drive
We do.
across it and it tells?
We got one, I don't know.
I'm just thinking, you know, if you're gonna prioritize, you gotta hit the ones that are.
And maybe we don't set a precedent by doing the whole 2 miles, but maybe we can expand from that 200 feet maybe to 300 or the instances they've described where there's 3 houses together to do the 600, you know, just
600
something
feet.
to get
Some help.
something done now, some tangible improvement made while we can consider and look at something more long-term.
And that additional, would we pay that out of commissioner's fund or highway? Because we do allocate a certain amount of money to the highway out of our lighted.
Yeah,
And we pay, of course, the calcium.
yeah. I'm okay with that.
Are we just gonna do that on 45, or are we gonna do that for all residents in the county? Houses are that close.
That's the big, that's the big,
Because I'm not gonna explain to people why we're doing it for others and not all of them.
Well, that's why I said I think it has to do with the amount of traffic. I mean, if you have 4 houses on a road and it gets 4 or 5 operations a day, that would be one that would get it last.
Yeah.
I think we have to start saying what's our highest use roads and needing the most attention. Work it that way. I don't think you can just willy-nilly, because they're bringing it here, they have a concern. Like Mike said, they were willing to come here and spread that concern. They must really think it's a concern. The average person may gripe a little and go on with their day. But if there's really that much traffic, I think we need to hit those areas first. We got to hit the high traffic areas first. That's how you tell people. Sorry, that road had 100 operations, you only have 10.
So we'll have to actually go through and count all these gravel roads to know that.
That's the problem
Well-
yeah.
I think we need a counter. Maybe we need a reliable counter.
I mean, with technology today, aren't there wireless cameras that can, that sense motion? and
Isn't there
boom,
a satellite
Then you
up there
count them
that
and say,
counts?
okay, there was 42 here. I mean, there's got to be a simple way to do this. With technology we have today, surely we can determine
There's a lot of
roughly.
that knowledge that we're not able to obtain, because they can ping your cell phones all over this whole county, know what the traffic is, but we're not obligated to that information.
They don't give it to us. I'd love to have Google Maps, everything that
We're still entitled to go through and actually put the counters out. They won't,
there's no data we can get from Google directly or anything.
You gotta come.
I would suggest that maybe we do the extra spraying on County Road 45 and trust that Andy's not gonna get too specific to alert the entire county about what we're doing, and then we need to take this under, I'd like to send these folks home with some sort of action today. And then we need to take a hard look at how we're going to do this going forward and how we need to address some of these situations. I mean, they pay the same tax that everybody else does, the same road tax, gas tax, and everything else. And I think they all deserve that consideration. So that would be my suggestion.
I'd be open to that, something to, like I said, if we can get that dust controlled and then take a
Additional
harder
footage.
look at the berming and I don't know anything about roads, folks, as far as berming, that's Ben's department, but I think that I'd be in favor of helping them with the dust control to start with.
I entertain a motion and a suggestion of how we pay it.
How much are we willing to do? Because like I said, 2 miles is $11,000 or so. What are we looking at? Could we compromise and say, instead of doing the whole road, maybe do 400 foot in front of each house or something like that? That being counterproductive at that point.
Even 3.
you guys want.
I don't know what the house layouts are. Like I said, it does seem kind of stupid to do 200 foot, leave a 40-foot gap, and then do another 200 foot, 80-foot gap.
Yeah.
If there's going to be a 200-foot gap, I
They try,
understand.
there's more than that. There's more footage than that, because we'll spray it solid. You've got further gaps than that.
Okay.
It don't look like it when you're driving 30 mile an hour in a car, but there's more footage.
Is there? Mm-hmm. So how much do we want to do is the question. Is that where we're at?
Yes, yes. And I'm thinking the 200 foot per household. If they're across from each other, they get 400 feet.
I'd be good with that. I
I
have no
mean,
problem with
that's
that.
what we talk about. That's what's kind of specified, 200 foot a household.
Okay.
And we go from there.
I'd be good with that.
So you take the number of households times 200 foot. And I don't know how we sort that out with the company, because they're going to provide some of that in the, well, no, it'll just be a gallon, yeah.
Just by what
Yeah.
they apply.
It'll be, yeah.
I'll have to have a driver with them that day and let them know, but we've got a lot of other busy gravel roads in the county that we're gonna do this. I mean, you guys won't be fair. I mean, I get a lot of calls every day about dust and things, and this is the answer to have them come up here. I mean, if we're gonna be fair to the people in the county, I'm not trying to step on nobody's toes, but it's just, I gotta answer these calls every day, guys, and I try to be as consistent and fair with everyone in what we do and how we do it.
Well, and I would suggest that at least make some notes on who's calling on what roads and bring them up here. And we can, we need to look at this more in depth for a long-term solution. So this is just to kind of address today's situation. And I agree that, if we're going to be fair, we need to do that. And I think we need to have that conversation.
Yeah, let's take it on a case-by-case basis, and,
I just wanna know what,
yeah. But we'll do this one, and we'll see if the phone calls come in. I think the big thing is number of houses on that road. I mean, if it got a mile of road and there's only 4 houses, Probably not, you know, and they're gonna get their 200 feet anyway, probably.
Yeah.
The situation is where they're
Yeah.
so close together that they don't get their 200 feet. So
Right.
let's take it as a case by case. And we'll do this one, and then we'll go from there.
I think that's entirely reasonable. I would suggest that we just take the extra fees out of, or pay those out of 64.
64.
Yeah.
Up again. On the calcium spreading in front of the houses, if my house, that's 200 feet, and you can apply my 200 feet to the rest of the neighbors. I personally am opposed to the calcium chloride. It turns out to be a slimy mess that goes up into my driveway and into my garage, and it actually drips off the insides of the fenders of my car. Take my calcium chloride 200 feet, give it to the rest of the neighbors.
So I will make the motion to do the expanded dust control spraying and pay for it out of
64.
64.
Agree, Todd?
Second?
That motion is second. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Little start.
You.
Leaving now? Luck with everything. Mark just told me late June, early July before Pearston gets here.
What?
Late June, early July.
You're running way behind.
You get rain, I'll be behind even further.
Not a bit surprised.
So, you guys know I can talk a lot when people's in here, but I'm not gonna get anywhere. But you know, I'm not opposed to doing anything for these gravel roads. We can come up with a plan, whatever you want, but it's hard to come up with a plan until you tell me what monies we're gonna allocate towards it.
Great.
You know, because every road, I mean, if we got 300,000, well, maybe we can do this, but the other road up, I don't want to be shortchanging ourselves on these gravel roads. You know, I could have put Mark on the spot. Mark was the Noble County Highway Superintendent. Ask him about Noble County's converted roads. They're a mess. They cost him a lot of hundreds of thousands of dollars in upkeep. And once we convert a gravel road, guys, we are converting that road to be a 55-mile-an-hour road. So you have to have your recovery zone, your buffer zones. The way we've done it, we have not converted a road correctly for federal highway standards. You know, and I can go on to all that when these people are in here, but obviously all I gotta do is take a grader out there and run in the ditch. We got a ditch and a perfectly drained road. But, I mean, as we go forward, I wanna do this, guys. Don't think I don't. But I also wanna do it right.
Yeah.
I don't want these tort claims. I want to be proud of these projects when I go out and do it. And therefore, we're going to have to invest the money to do it and do it right.
I think the key again, we're moving from a farming community / couple farmhouses per road. People build nice houses on these roads, but dang it, when they build the house, it's gravel when they build it. Now, get enough houses there, I think there's a justification that, hey, there's enough of us here, it's time to do something. But to come in here and demand, when you know what you bought, let us know. Is there really that many operations? And when there are that many operations, I think we need to look at converting it to a hard service. But then what's it cost to convert a mile to hard service average, roughly, if you had just pencil napkin?
If we just went through today and everything was perfect, I'm just doing a chip seal, we're probably 150,000 a mile.
That's a
If-
minimum.
Yes.
But if you wanted to put down a true asphalt road with proper base and everything, what are you talking about? Million a mile?
Probably
More than
half a
that.
million, probably, maybe $500,000. Depending on what's needed there.
Yeah. It's not just going out and say, okay, throw 4
You know, and
inches of
I get
asphalt
upset,
here.
guys, because I'm gonna tell you what, my department busts their ass excuse my language.
I agree.
We have come so far in my 6.5 years here to where we was when we started with drainage in our road and our assets. To sit in here and get demeaned that we're not doing nothing and then get accusations made at me that's far-fetched as hell, it kind of really gets under my skin and makes me wonder why we do what we do.
Unfortunately, this is what you deal with.
It is, and I understand that.
No, I'm just saying, it's, it's,
I don't know where in the world they ever came up with that
well,
deal about Amish and,
and that starts, and to be honest with the guys, that gives me pause whether how much I really want to do on this road. If the accusations are, if this is an emotional issue and we're going to start, putting falsehoods on public record, I have a real problem with that.
Guys, I got a lot of people in the community that call and ask me regularly, don't forget me on converting your roads. Guys, I want to do it, but I don't know how I can maintain our blacktops with the funds I have and to keep them safe to where they should be. Our paved roads should be at a standard, a minimum of 5 or below on our PACER scale.
What does that mean?
Our PACER scale is our pavement access, you're gonna make me think, pavement asphalt.
That's an acronym.
Yeah, it's an acronym for it's our road rating system.
Oh,
It goes
okay.
from a 0 to a 10. We ought to at least be at a 5 on all of our paved roads as a minimum, and make that our goal. And that's what I've been trying to do. But
Well, that's
it's hard.
the problem people don't understand is legacy cost. It's one thing to put someone and say, okay, we spent $1 million, we're done. It's another thing to say, hey, now we got to treat that paved road. We got to make sure it stays to the standard. And whereas a gravel road, you kind of have leeway there.
All of our drainage issues, we are primarily focusing on our paved roads, to get them drained. Them's the ones that's going to deteriorate from it. With the gravel
Oh,
road,
yeah.
I can go out
You
there
can repair it.
I can go out there with a load of gravel and dump it and grade it a few times and it's good.
Yeah,
Paved road, once it's went bad and we've lost it,
Oh.
it's gone.
yeah. No, I agree.
That's why they gotta be done
We
the right way to start.
We bermed almost 100 miles of road last summer. That's huge.
Really?
And just to sit there and say it's from grading and scraping is nonsense. Then why am I berming paved roads? We're not grading that road. Yet we got freaking berms that high on them.
Well, you get that because we sand and salt.
Sand, and then
everything,
you
right?
got your vegetation
Yeah.
growing and mowing and decomposing. I got people that filling the ditches in faster than I can keep them dug out.
Right.
It's just don't end, and it just infuriates me so much. You guys ain't out here every day and see what I see and deal with what we deal with, and to know the department and the system I have, how hard we work at this. There's a lot of infrastructure and mileage of roads we have to maintain.
Crazy.
And it's irritating as hell to me, guys, when I drive these roads and I see something that's falling apart or not withholding what we've done. Because I care a lot, probably a lot more than most. And I get so upset about this because you guys care too, work hard too. And I get
Well-
really discouraged about this. I don't like being bullied.
It's
That
fun.
was,
It's
that
fun.
was unfair.
It's funny, I drive, just driving
was
literally
unfair
from
then.
Ashley, sometimes just set your stopwatch, start in Ashley, take one of the county roads and head to Huntertown once. And count the mile, just that road you're on, just maintaining that one road for 14 miles. Now go in all directions every mile and add them up. And, wheel tax is probably going to have to fit into the thing, but these roads need to be improved according to usage. If it's high use, it needs to be improved. If it's not high use, I'm sorry, you bought a house on a gravel road, live with it. That's why you bought that house for $100,000 less than the house over there that's on the, so.
Guys, we can go out and just convert these all you want. Yeah. I want to take you
With
for a
whose
ride.
money?
I want to take you for a ride down Allen County. The ones that they just did, that they put in the paper, how proud of they are, and look how they're blown apart. Is that what we want?
I think I want to do that with you because I want to be prepared. I want to take a video of it to be able to show too that, okay, yeah, we can convert these and then we can have a real piece of crap road that is 4 times as much now to maintain because we've converted it poorly,
You
right?
guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't want to fight that battle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to keep up what we got.
I'm with you.
well, I think we're a long way from talking about converting 45. I just wanted to get them
Oh, yeah.
I understand
Some-
that.
Yeah, some dust control.
some.
I have no
some-
problem with that.
Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, there's a lot of people, depending on what the newspaper puts in there, you be ready for your phone to start ringing. Because if we're doing any extras, everybody lives on the busiest gravel road in the county. I hear it nonstop, and I've got areas that I know are traveled. You got 17 over here that goes
Oh,
to
yeah.
API's gravel pit and Irving's gravel pit. Them dump trucks run that thing nonstop.
And then what do we do with the
We don't-
gentleman that says, well, I don't want the calcium chloride in front of mine?
I wanted to say
Now I gotta go
something.
tell the driver, hey,
No.
make sure you skip this house.
I don't think we're
Eh,
gonna.
Well, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
though.
I
It's,
I get it.
you can't
Can't
please.
win.
Well, and the thing is, you bought the house on the gravel road. You got what you paid for. Now, if we're not maintaining that gravel road property, we gotta do something. But to say, hey, you gotta convert this because there's a lot of dust now, well, yeah, I understand that.
No, and
But
people,
Well-
do you know what road gravel is? It looks like dirt.
yeah,
It's bank run. It's road gravel. It's got red leg in it. It's got sand. It's
Yeah.
got stone, natural
unwashed.
native stone.
it's not washed.
It's not limestone. But I'm gonna tell you, when we converted 54 outside of Garrett, we put 6 inches of limestone on that whole road, and every one of them homeowners called and was raising heck because the white dust was so bad.
Oh, yeah, because of limestone, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, which
You
is the
know-
best packing material though, right?
But your cost is a lot higher. The stone softens, the stone crushes and goes back to powder. You lose it more.
Yeah.
And then as it gets packed in and established, you can't grade it.
No, it's like a hard surface, that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go out and run the scarifiers on the grader.
That's what we put under concrete when we pour concrete, right? We put limestone generally as the
Most
base, right?
generally,
And you
yes.
pack it down.
Sometimes.
But most generally, they use 9s or a loose stone. They don't necessarily always use like 73s or 53s. We do use a lot of that on the gravel roads because you can't buy good road gravel hardly anywhere around here.
Right.
So here, moving forward, we have been using that. But, you know, that's what that is. Everybody says it's dirt. No, it's a gravel road. There's a difference. You know, and the calcium chloride works great with gravel. It does start a soil stabilization. It works good for dust control, and it makes that gravel, it makes that dirt hard.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I mean, when you go out, the spots that we sprayed for all these years, you about can't grade it with a truck.
Really?
No, it's freaking hard.
Yeah, it's like concrete.
So, I mean, doing what this is a good thing for soil stabilization starting ahead. But that's the difference in material that people don't understand. They always call it mud. It's dirt. Yeah, it does get sloppy and dirty, but so does limestone.
Oh, limestone's very dusty.
You gotta drive down my driveway in the spring's a
Oh,
soupy,
yeah.
nasty mess. All that white slop flips up on my tires on my car, and it's just, unless it's paved, we're not gonna make it perfect, guys.
No, I agree. And paving isn't gonna happen. We don't have the money.
You know,
We don't have the money.
even if we establish a wheel tax, a lot of these people aren't gonna see their roads get converted as fast as they want.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
it'd be
say,
20 years.
a wheel tax, I think even at the max, I don't think it's not much more than a drop in the bucket compared to what it would take to actually convert all our roads. Still take a long time.
But maybe we
Because
could meet-
$200,000 or $150,000 a mile,
Yeah.
if you're collecting $1 million in wheel tax, it's gone in just a little bit.
But maybe we could maintain what we have a little better.
Yeah, I
with
mean,
the
it'd
wheel
help,
tax.
but it's
But I
not-
don't think we're gonna see much conversion at all.
It's not gonna fix.
$1 million a year, big deal. Okay, we can do 1.5 miles a year. Well,
Anyway.
in 700, or in 204 years, we'll have them all in service.
Well, either way, guys, whatever you guys want. I know this is gonna be a hot topic. It always has since I've been here. The gravel roads, the dust, the mud and the dirt. I mean, I'll work with you guys, but until we get some money established, it's hard to prioritize. And I can tell you the roads that are busy.
Yeah,
But then just like I told you, just because it's busy don't mean it's a candidate to be converted because if the ground's crap, we're gonna have nothing but trouble.
but maybe we could do more dust control on the busy ones. is
You
what I'm
know,
saying.
and to go through and do these ones, just like the prior commissioners had me do 71 between 40 and 28, right after I first started.
We won.
Yep, came with
That busy?
71. We chip and sealed that from 28 to 40 my first year here,
Why?
because I was directed to do it.
Why?
Because I was directed to do
I know,
it.
but was there a reasoning for that?
I can't answer that. I got my speculations, but it's been speculations, I keep it to myself.
Well, yeah,
But I was
there's- I don't
directed
wanna
I was
do-
directed to do it.
Yeah.
And we have done nothing but fight, and we have dug out probably 70% of that road with the back.
Really?
And put matting down and geogrid down, and we're still fighting that road.
Because we did
I
it
bid that
improperly.
road, I bid that road in 2018, I think you was here, about going in and grinding that and doing yeah, going through and putting, Portland cement in there, doing FDR on that road. To actually get the soil stabilized and get it hard, because we just couldn't keep it. And the bids come in so doggone high, we had to throw it out. And we went through that whole summer and dug out, we spent the whole summer on that road. And it's still not a good road. It shouldn't have been done. And I asked not to do it. I was told, do it. several times, so I did do it, and that's what I don't want, guys.
Only thing worse than not doing anything is doing it something poorly,
Yeah.
you know? You're
You know,
better to do nothing.
I did it with the money I had and the best that we could with the money we had,
Sure.
but it wasn't enough. You know, to do a road and do it right, to know what we ought to go out and do soil samples on it, see
Yeah.
what's out there.
Well, and when I hear, well, paving roads is cheaper, that's why they're doing it, like, yeah, whatever, okay.
Like I said, I just
Half
get
a million a
irritated.
Okay,
So,
let's-
I've got a few things, for you guys today. One, Jim sent out an email. I believe you guys got this release and hold harmless agreement for Heitman Steel and County Road 59 about the mowing out front.
Yep, approved that.
Yeah, we approved that.
Did you? Did you guys sign it?
Yep.
Really? Must did that last week then.
Just did it today.
Just did it today? Oh,
A
okay.
while ago.
Well, then I'll need a copy of that signed one and dated
We
one.
knew you were coming.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, never mind, disregard that. How would that come up for?
I don't know.
we beat you to
Something
that.
else. This one.
It was on our discussion list and we went through the
AL.
discussion
All right,
list.
nope, that's fine, that's fine. The next thing I got, is just a little bit FYI for you, I've got our new cost estimate from USI for our 2022 to 2025 bridge inspection cycles. The total agreement for this round would be $237,115. The county's match is gonna be $47,423 is what we'll end up paying. I've looked through this briefly. It looks in order to me. We can object to the price, the fee of it. At this point, I'm really not in argument of it. Our last cycle was 204,666. This did increase a little bit, but then again, what don't, and what hasn't. This will have to go through NDOT to be, if they don't like the price, they will negotiate the price.
Really?
Yeah, NDOT does, because this is 80% federally funded.
Okay. That's
So-
why we say the match of
So
47.
we can be as happy as we want to be with this. If NDOT ain't happy with it, it ain't gonna matter unless we're gonna foot the whole bill. So, I mean, I can send this to you guys. It's a bunch of verbiage on here. I mean, I'll be more glad to send it to you. It just kind of breaks down the inspection periods, when they're gonna be, and what the cost for each phase would be. But I gotta send this off to NDOT once I review it a little bit more. I got some paperwork I gotta fill out. I just wanted to give you guys the brief numbers and see if you had any questions or comments on it. You know, it's relatively close to what we spent before. It's up about 30 grand, but they're also requiring us to do more load ratings than what we've done in the past. So that's gonna be a cost increase to our bridge inspection cycles as well. Actually, I got a memo today on it as far as additional signage on some of our bridges that I gotta read through. I think if it goes through what we've been through on our load rating in the past, we've got one bridge that's posted, but this is for the new rescue truck. That has to be broke down by the axles and actually signed, and then signed 2 miles ahead. And as far as I know, we're only gonna have one bridge, but I need to read that memorandum from the state and see what they're requiring us to do. I just got it Friday.
Which bridge do you think?
That one's the one on County Road 9, it's the wooden structure. I can't think what bridge number that is. It's not that old of a bridge, but it's a wood structure. And that one has a load rating on it now, just due to the new credentials of what we have to rate our bridges
Do we
off
still
of.
do wood structures?
That one they did, that one was built in when was that one built? 2009, maybe? It's not that old of a bridge.
You know, we still, when you say wood structure, you're talking about the actual support is
Yeah,
wood?
it's all wood,
Really?
except for the deck on it.
That's
It's got an
interesting.
asphalt deck on it.
I didn't know that.
It's a pretty bridge. I mean,
Morningstar wood structure that we're getting from the city there?
A wood one?
Is that wood structure in
No.
Morningstar over Cedar? It's not, is it?
That is already ours.
It's in our inventory now,
Yeah.
but yeah.
The one that we're getting from Auburn's the one on Lenora Lane.
Oh, yeah, 15,
Yeah.
or, yeah, look.
No, and that's all concrete structure. So, if you guys are okay, I'll proceed with this with NDOT and move forward. I mean, I don't see no problems with it so far.
I'm okay with it. If you're good with it.
Yeah, I wanna read through it a little bit more. And then, like I said, the last bridge inspection cycle, our contract fees went back and forth, I think 3 times with NDOT before we come to an agreement on the pricing.
Oh, okay.
So this is likely to change too. I don't know how NDOT figures it or how they come up with their numbers, but they've got their own fees that they feel is right. So, we're looking to hopefully within 2 weeks, starting our chip and seal. I did just get a 60 cent a gallon increase from Kirsten. So that has added our chip seal cost up just over $2,200 more a mile now. So we're up to just over $14,000 a mile for a single seal over an existing pavement now.
What's this material?
Sealing oil.
It's the sealing oil.
Way down for the aggregate.
It's
Yeah.
the tar, liquid tar.
It's the glue, the sticky.
Glue that holds the rock to the road.
You know, when we chip sealed, last year, we didn't chip seal nothing, but the following year, we chip sealed for $8,900 a mile. Same rate, same material, we're up just over 14 now. New cost.
And that's just to go over one that's already chip and sealed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on hard surface. It's just one trip.
That's just
One
to
spray and one-
maintain what we already have.
And that price changes per the road, because that is an application rate of 2.8%. So if I change that to 3% or 2, that changes that rate. So that really changes our mile gallonage.
How do you initially chip and seal a gravel road? What has to go down first? Oil in the,
We spray a prime on there.
okay,
It's called dust lay. So that is the black, it can be used as a black dust control, but when you use that, you can't grade the road no more. So that is an emulsion. So we'll go through and we'll spray that on the road at 3.5%. And then once that dries, then we'll go in and we'll double chip seal over it. But then the first lay, we're shooting oil at 3.5%.
3.5% what? Of
Oil.
3 versus what? 3.5%.
That's the rate of gallons that we spray the material on. So it's all set in our distributor,
Okay.
how the percentage that we spray per gallon. So,
Oh, per gallon, okay.
right, so 3.5%, then that's distributed over a 20-foot bar.
I got
So
it.
what actually comes out, I can't tell you.
Okay,
The
got
truck
it.
calibrates
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But I can tell you it takes us 3,600 gallons a mile at 2.8. Now at 3.5, I'd have to figure that. We don't do a lot of, I don't have that number in my head. So we'll go through at 3.5 and then spray the oil. We'll put 9s down, 9 limestone. Then we'll come back through and spray it at 3% with 11s on top. And then ideally, we should come back through in the fall then and hit it with another 3% with 11s on top of that. So basically your 9, you know what 9 limestone looks
Oh, yeah.
like. So we'll put that down, that's your bigger stone. And then the 11s will come through and fill all them little voids, that gets your smoother top.
Gotcha.
But you always lose some or don't seal
Oh,
as best, so you always should hit the third one on the new road to hold it together. So essentially, you're hitting it 3 times. Then with the prime, that's add another application. The prime, I'm not sure what that is per gallon. It's over $1 a gallon.
And that's after you put down approximately 6-inch base, crushed limestone. And that's a lot of limestone
Lot of
on a
limestone.
mile. It's a lot
You
of
know, and
limestone.
just for us to do it, it just takes so much time. I mean, by the time we go through and establish the ditches and then hauling that stone, whether it's tandem or single, I mean, if we're gonna do those, I need to bid those jobs to have Bailey or Irving or whoever, Klink, deliver it to the site. And I can have a motor grader and roller out there.
Instead of trying to haul it back and
It
forth.
just, man, that just
That
kills
doesn't
me.
make any sense at all.
It just kills me.
Well, they can bring a triaxle, which will more than our dual.
And it's hard, you know, we gotta go out there, we'll measure that road off in 100-foot increments. So we got it broke down to how many tons I need in that 100-foot. So we'll go out there and we'll flag this road. So I'm gonna know, okay, I need 8 trucks between these 2 flags. That way that's telling my operators, my motor grader operators, because otherwise it's easy to get carrying that stone further and
Oh,
further. Then
yeah.
you get less and less base, or you get more base. So we try to go out and flag that road, have a ground guy keeping track, and, you know, they got the motor grader going, trying to set the grade, and you got the roller behind of it. And I mean, I enjoy doing it. I could do that stuff all day long and be happy. It's just that the time consumingness and then the maintenance we have to keep up with everything else, just. We just got Woodland Trail done last week. Out here off 427, gonna micro that. we got 2 yards we gotta go out with the grate all. It was really built high. We couldn't pull the berms off because people built their irrigation systems right out within 18 inches of the road.
Oh, did they really?
So we're gonna go out there and try to pull some of that to get, because it's high, it needs to come off. You know, they put the ground in, then they haul sod in, and then they, and of course, it's gotta be an area where we have water issues. So, and just stuff takes time, you know. And we try to do as good job as we can and not make a mess, but, you know, when we berm roads, a lot of people get upset that we berm miles on end, and I mean, we're not landscapers.
Right. Right.
I don't know. In a perfect world, everything would be better, I guess. I don't know. So, but we're progressing. We're moving forward. I bet you're here to ask about your traffic impact study, and it hasn't been, we got a meeting here 18th, 16th, or 18th. But nothing's been done yet that I know of. I know there's a meeting on it. I don't know what's entailed at this point. But I don't really know nothing more than the last time you stopped and talked to me, or you called, I think it was. I appreciate that. This job will make you or break you, I'll tell you. And a lot of days I wonder why I do it, because
I used to work in a museum. Cruise in the events area. Traffic study.
sure.
And if not, then urban, that's tasked with, and it's like you gotta do everything with more than a handkerchief.
Oh, it's
And
something.
we talked about that on the phone, and I used to build bridges and roads.
Right. No, like I said, I promise, I'm gonna do my best not to forget to notify you when we get something that comes to do.
I'm not even sure they've hired somebody to do the traffic study yet. I know
I don't think
Dan
so.
Avery had recommended two different firms, but I don't know that they've
There's a
taken.
firm that we're meeting with. Let me see if I got the name of it here. No, there's the meeting. Goes all that. There is a name of it. I don't remember what it was. I was off last week, so I'm coming back and being bombarded with emails here. No.
It was the money. Hey, there's 2 years from now, 2.5 years, you can run, you can have this position. You'll love it.
I'm still trying to raise
Well, we're raising 48,000 13-year-olds.
Like your house.
and
Well, it's like I said earlier too, if people understood, and I'm not knocking the state, they gotta do their job too. But if you understood that they collect over $23 billion a year, and kick back a few million to us roughly, and they got big expenses, don't get me wrong. But to add another, why haven't you added this tax? Why haven't you added that tax? Well, let's just add 14 different taxes, and they all start as just a little. Sales tax. Sales tax started at 2% in 1968, or 63. To build the interstate system. And they said, hey, we'll remove the tax once the road's in. Well, then property tax got out of control, and the schools were struggling. The schools, because they needed to build, hey, keep that tax in, give it to the schools, and we'll lower the property tax. So they lowered the property tax, raised sales tax. Then they raised sales tax to 4% to lower property tax. Then they raised it to 6% to lower property. Now they're both up here again. It's not an income problem, it's a spending problem. It'll never go away. And it never goes away. When someone tells you this is a temporary tax, the Coliseum's a good example. It'll cost you 8% in sales tax at a restaurant in Fort Wayne because that was supposed to be only for the bond. When the bond was paid off, it's supposed to, we've kind of gotten used to that $21 million a year. Can't let that one go, sorry. So, it's...
I agree with, fiscally, their money's worth. Too much waste.
Well, to give you an idea right here, it's just like this 80-20 funding on the bridge. We should be able to negotiate our own good deal. If we had our money, we'd say, no, we'll give you $190,000. But instead, we can say, well, it looks good to us, and it only costs us 20%, so even if it's a little high, I guess it doesn't matter. Then the state gets involved. Then they kick it back. Then back. What is that? That's such a waste of time and money to do these grants and these. Just give us our money back that we paid. We'll be done.
We're still paying that other 80%.
Yeah, we're still paying it. It's just coming from a different source.
You know, they
Minus
said on the
whatever they have
news,
to take out for administration fees.
Yeah.
look at all the nonsense I gotta go through for this community crossings grant.
Yeah.
Then they said on the news over the weekend how the state has this big abundance of surplus of money. They're looking at doing another reimbursement to all the taxpayers.
Yeah, $100, great.
Yeah, well, they gave us 120, now they're talking about doing the same again. Why can't they give that back to the counties and the town to build their infrastructure, to build their roads and,
I'd rather do that.
yeah, the money's already there. I'm already used to, it's gone. I already paid it. Use it towards our community.
Because that wouldn't make them look as good.
No.
You know what,
That would make
120
'em-
bucks. Cost me $50 to fill my lawnmower up Friday.
Yeah, lawnmower.
My lawnmower, my zero turn.
To mow your grass.
Yeah, because it holds 11 gallons of gas. $50.
We all need goats. I suggest goats.
And with that, I don't know.
Get rid of cars too, go back to horses.
I'll try my best to stay in touch with you. Don't hesitate
We
to
may
call
be
me.
back
Do the horse ordinance then.
Yeah, horse ordinance.
I don't know. I'll give you mine.
I don't know if you guys have to sign this.
I'm done signing.
With the
You can just email me if
engineering.
you want.
I think
That's
that's
got
on the
mine
list,
on
but I
there.
don't know.
Oh, it is, yeah.
I got a lot going on. I try my best not to forget you.
I don't know if you have to make a motion or, I think it says motion.
Yeah,
What's that for, Bill?
That's why
that's for this
I'm upset. I just thought I'd show up, had a little bit of extra time.
out. Witzel Engineering
Sure.
has to do
But once
with
the study's done,
Oh, so
county
it
highway.
will be presented to the commissioners.
Oh, for what? For what,
They,
Bill?
I think at this point.
Oh,
they
for
want
the,
to-
for the highway department. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking roads still.
Highway departments.
Well,
We
General
motioned that,
area.
I think. I just need to sign it.
It's up to them to pay.
No, we didn't vote on this.
no, it says, I think she has a note motion on there.
Okay,
Is this to accept their services for the borings?
right, right. I think $9,800.
Yeah, $9,900.
It looks like the 16th or 18th, we got a meeting.
See, this is
set
a
up.
question I have. So we
My
talked
phone is a
with
pain in the butt. Oh, my email.
Tony about, hey, we need to select CMA or build,
Yeah, between me, the state.
traditional one-on-one contract, but we're piecemealing
I
certain
don't know
parts
what
of it
that's
together
gonna
already.
consist of.
Okay, we'll pay for borings. Okay, we'll pay for site. I don't know why we really
That will
need a
be
CMA, not to
scope
go
of
back to
work,
that,
what's
if we
going
can break these projects out and just hire different contractors for each project.
I know that we paid for the
My
phase
understanding
one,
is it's the.
Yeah, we paid for the phase one inspection.
Before they go through and do their study,
the wetland.
they wanna make sure they cover everything that's
and
all
needed.
that other stuff.
I don't know why we
And then
can't
they'll
just
present it
piecemeal
back to
this thing
us,
out.
and then it will
And
get
again,
presented to the
let's
commissioners.
start on that
So it
hard
should
project of
happen
getting that
within
first one remodeled. Let's get
6
someone to
weeks.
bid what we want done. And then let's have them bid each project separately. We don't necessarily have to have someone build the whole thing. Why can't we have,
I don't have that.
okay, now you're gonna build the salt barn. Who wants to bid on that? Now you're gonna bid on the cold storage. Who wants to bid that? Now, the excavation is the only kinda
Hey, that's fine.
bar there, you know, because you got the contractor that's building has to make sure that the excavation was done right. Obviously, you'd have to have some type of agreement there, but other than that, I don't know why you need a CMA on this. Not at this level.
Right. I
The
agree.
jail's a whole different story.
Well, yeah.
This
Systems,
is different.
A
complexities.
lot more.
So we don't have a general contractor.
No, I think,
I
No,
agree.
well,
We're like the
we have a
I
general
appreciate you, Bill.
contractor
Thank you.
who bids the project.
per project though.
Yeah.
The general on the remodel might not be the same general on the salt barn, is
Not
what
if
I'm
you-
saying.
Not if you bid each one separately.
I'm saying you,
Well, the general's over all of it. You're not gonna have a general contractor. You're
Okay,
gonna
well-
have individual contractors.
let me back this up a minute. Let's say I want to build a house, I want to dig a pond at my house, and I want to build a shop. I got an Amish crew that can build a shop. I know they can build, I'm going to break that out separately. The pond, I know that so-and-so excavating, I don't want a general contractor to just hire someone. I know that I can get that pond built. The house, I don't know much about building a house. I'm going to hire a guy that can handle all of it. I'm just saying is, I think we can break these out and say, you bid on the, we're opening bids
I
for the salt
agree,
barn.
but you're not gonna hire a general contractor if you do that.
Right, exactly. I agree.
That's why I just said.
Yeah, you know, I agree with you. Because everyone's their own general at that point.
Yeah, or yeah,
They're bidding on the project.
in that particular, but a general is somebody who is over the entire project.
Yes, make sure everything gets done perfect. Yeah, and I don't think we're gonna get, I don't think we need that necessarily for this particular project. Because we have good prints, we got a good, Tony's good to make sure, I'm not so sure that we can't just handle this one ourselves.
And he said they'd make sure that, you know, it's done to their specifications.
Yeah.
Whatever's on that print, Tony has said that they will follow up on
Yeah,
that.
if you're gonna bid each thing as a separate,
They have to follow what's on the
separate
specs.
item, yeah.
Yeah,
Then you don't, then you wouldn't have a journal, you'd have,
individual contractor.
Yeah, everyone's their own little general for their project per
or,
se.
or.
Hold them
somebody-
accountable.
Somebody bids a,
It also doesn't put it all in one hand to where if they screw up like it, you know, we can fire them on that project, say, all right, glad they're not doing it all, you know? It's just something to think about.
I think that might be,
I'd hate to hire CMA for $250,000 to check blueprints.
okay, back to Ben.
Sorry, Ben.
That's fine.
Wish-
I don't have nothing else for you guys.
Thanks for coming in. Good
Thank
to
you.
see you.
I don't think so. I got a lot of catching up to do.
Why don't you like Amish people?
I have no problem with Amish people.
Oh my God.
Oh, that
We all knew that was something you would never say, Ben.
I know that, but it just,
contracts with the engineering firm.
So that, do we
Say that
have to
again,
put a
Bill?
paper on that, or,
Well, I would make a motion that we
Approve that.
engage them for their
Okay.
boring services.
boring services?
Yeah, and it's
it's really boring.
Alt and Witzig, Witzig.
Okay.
With Zig?
And then Bill
I
would
got it
probably be
already.
the authorized signer on this.
Yeah. Got a motion and a second, any additional comments?
Aye.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same, motion carries.
Remember when Dean Cruz and built there on 29, has it been? That big, that 27 or 29 off of 52 in Auburn. You turn left off of 427 onto 52, then right onto 27. It's a dirt road that starts with an S turn, or used to be dirt or gravel.
Right, used to be, yeah, that's 52, yeah.
Dean Cruz and Mr., other guy has somewhat wealthy down the road. They paid, county didn't do it, they paid to pave that thing. That's an option too, is folks, you know.
Anything else? We got on the list here, horse-drawn buggy discussion. I don't know if we can,
Jim got a whole bunch of that stuff. I sent you guys what I learned from Steuben County. I did speak to Ben Parrish at LaGrange County. He's the highway superintendent there. Of course, they have a lot more Amish community up there than what we got here. But he did tell me on the phone that they are looking at increasing it to $200 per buggy because of the maintenance cost. They do what they call troughing each year. So they've got some like V-shaped, I don't know what you call it, like pushers on the front of their skid steers. So they'll have a truck go ahead of them and all your hot mix in these troughs, and they push them and run with a wheel roller behind them to fill them horse troughs in. So they do that every year, X amount of mile road, and of course their maintenance cost is a lot more buggy related than what we have. But it seems like what I've seen is around $100 a plate.
Yeah.
Is pretty standard consensus with what I've seen. He said up there, I don't know how the buggies are identified, because cars and vehicles have a VIN number. He said up there, we'll have an Amish family that will have like 3 or 4 buggies. Yeah. And that's a mobile plate. Yeah. So he said, you're not really getting your revenue like what you and I pay, is what he's noticed. But I don't know if there's a way you could depreciate that or do anything different. But he says that funding has helped them some. He did encourage us to look at it, doing something, because especially if there is more coming this way. You know, Mr. Seiler that sent the original email inquiring, I do see it down in the southern part here, especially the Spencerville part more. And then we're also getting a lot more that are driving cars, I see.
Oh, yeah.
The Amish is, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the beliefs or how you differentiate the two, but we don't have the Amish like LaGrange or Allen's got yet. But they're
right,
coming.
right.
Those
Now,
horses
there's a
really,
substantial influx, though, from Allen County.
We did have
Sorry, I didn't
a
mean to interrupt you.
a farm sale up on County Road 19 north of 6. The Amish come up and run it up to $19,000 an acre.
amazing. Those horses do pound the crap out of the road too, don't they? Because they run in that same spot every time, and that
They
heavy
do,
hoof,
and-
it V-shapes the road, I
It's a
noticed.
big trough. It's,
Yeah.
And with the horses on the asphalt, they have cleated shoes.
Yeah.
So like little spikes.
Oh.
Because otherwise, if you take just a regular metal horseshoe on asphalt, it's slippery.
Yeah, fall right down.
So there are little spikes in there.
So they're actually digging in.
Yeah, so they do puncture the asphalt. And in time, you know, that breaks up a little piece here, a little piece there.
You can't run studded tires on your car, that ain't legal.
Not supposed to, right. But it's the kind of the same principle.
Yeah.
Because you know what a normal horseshoe looks like,
Oh, yeah.
real smooth.
They got
I mean,
spikes in them, huh?
That's slick on the road, but yeah, the ones in the
know that.
Amish run do that. They're interesting. They're a cleated, they're a cleated shoe.
Really?
And then the wagon wheels got steel wheels too.
Yeah, I knew they were steel wheels.
But you know, I don't know what damage that does, because you know, they're minimal. It's
Yeah.
not excessively weighted.
1,000 pounds there.
you don't see any off to the side of the main track.
Yeah. I've noticed the main track where the horse
Yeah.
goes, though, it's like a V.
Yeah, it's,
Pounds the
it's-
crap out of it.
I've seen them 2-3 inches deep.
Yeah.
You know, horse weighs an average of 1,100 pounds.
And on a footprint that big,
Yeah,
that's a lot of weight coming down.
2 at a time necessarily,
Yeah.
yeah, you so.
We took a buggy ride up in Amish at Shipshawana a couple of years ago, a big old workhorse. I couldn't believe how hard he'd bring his feet down against that asphalt.
Oh, yeah.
Clop, clop, clop.
Probably
A big old
Belgian.
horse. But I mean,
That's a 2,000
he
pound
was,
horse.
I don't know how you think it'd ruin his legs, his feet. Just
Yeah.
slam that asphalt with them big old feet. So you're talking that horse probably 1,200-1,300 pounds. Maybe.
Oh, yeah, those Belgians that, not excavating raises, he tells me they're anywhere between 1,800 and 2,100 pounds.
But yeah, he found in that cement or that asphalt.
So is that something you guys are relying on Jim to come up with, or were you guys sending
That's what-
comments in, or?
That's what my note says.
I'd like to have Jim back.
This may be
Oh, yeah.
discussion
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Jim, when Jim is back.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Right. Well, mull
Okay.
over that stuff, and if I can help with it, I can. I'm really not looking for any more work right now, but I'll help you guys do what I can. You know, everything just takes time, guys, and there's a lot going on, and it's,
I appreciate the choir, man, I get it.
coming back today, my email flog, and just,
Can I turn this?
it was
Yeah,
nice
let me
having some
adjourn.
days off. but
I'll adjourn first.
Bay Area.
Are we done?
I'm done if you're done.
I think so.
We are adjourned.
Hopefully,
Thank you.
Brooks will start next week paving,
Oh, good.
hopefully. We painted out, Mark, well, actually, we didn't, Mark did, painted out, we got a lot of repairs on 56 to do. So we're gonna be over our tonnage on that. That project's probably, don't be surprised if we run over on that community crossings a little bit this year. But you know, we submitted that application July of last year,
Right.
and the road that we submitted it on, it took a toll this last winter. So I figured in some buffer for patching, but then with the cost escalation, and then adding the patching, we're gonna spend, probably end up spending a little bit out of pocket. But I don't wanna skimp on it. Because otherwise we might as well not surface it.
Is there any way, maybe you guys know more than me, okay, real quick, and then we're adjourned, but I want to just throw this out there. So you buy on a gravel road, you know it's gravel. It's gotten busier, maybe not to the level that requires paving, but let's say they want it. Is there a way to say, hey, make a partnership with them? $500,000 to do a mile. We'll pay $250 if you pay $250. You break it up. Is that even legal to do? I mean,
We
can you-
have a lot of areas in the county where the residents, if there's 4 or 5 homes, they'll split the money. So let's just say it's $1,000. Well, for how many, that would split $200 a piece. That's what it equals out to be, to spray it from the paved road down to the last one.
Well, I'm talking to hard surface it in the future. If there's,
hard surface.
let's say there's 20 homes on a road and they want it done and it's or it won't be $500,000 for chip and seal, but it could be a couple $100,000 really.